Testing 1, 2. Yeah, what's up, baby? This is the first show of 2022. I go by the name of Ike Ellis. I want to appreciate you for coming through the channel today. This is Artist IQ, baby. And today we're going to talk about business relationships within the industry. So, how many artists do we have in here today? How many media personnel do we have in here today? How many DJs do we have in here today? How many producers do we have in here today? How many business owners do we have in here today? How many I just love to create music. I don't really get into all that industry stuff. It's not really something that I'm trying to do anyway, but I'm just in the mix, just trying to talk about building relationships in an organic manner. Now, before I talked about relationships, but that was more so a relationship with your significant other. This is actually the relationships as you go about in the business world and you moving around and you meet this DJ and you meet this artist and you meet these different people. How can you interact to build an actual network of people that's actually going to be beneficial for your art and your music to grow? So let's talk about, first thing, let's talk about the types of relationships. Okay, so you got artist to artist relationship. You got artist to producer relationship. You got artist to DJ relationship. You got artist to supporter relationship. You got artist to consumer relationship. You got artist to investor relationships. You got artist to media personnel relationships, artist to engineer relationships. You got artist to family relationships. And this one new one that kind of emerged in like the last 5 years is artist to videographer. Okay, so you got all these different types of people who work and all accomplish the goal of making this amazing project. Okay, so when you're roaming in the industry, it's a certain understanding to, okay, this person is important. Everybody is important. A lot of times you might step on the wrong person and not really realize that might be the person that's gonna, help you in some type of way. I'm gonna give you a story. Shout out to the stranger, the great. I was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Now I went to this show, and it was like a competition type show, and I did the show and I killed the show, but it was nobody there to see it. Okay, it was nobody there to see it. So the next week I came to the same show and I killed the show again. But guess who was there? Stranger to great. So I had my camera in my hand, and he captured the moment. Okay, and it was so important that he captured the moment because the moment would have been forever lost. So now Stranger the Great is an artist. We just happened to, connect, and he was just a real person. And he captured the moment. He captured me winning the little trophy. He captured me winning all of that. And I thank him for that. You see what I'm saying? And he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do it as an artist, and I always respect him for it. So that's just a little story to, get into my understanding of these different types of relationships and how they can help you build yourself up to where you want to go. Now, if you don't understand these relationships, it's a possibility that you can offend the wrong person and don't even know it. I've offended many people and didn't know it. And it was all because I really didn't understand the dynamics of how relationships go in this industry. Let's talk about artist to artist, for example. All right. Now, the artist does what you do. So if I go up to this artist and I be like, okay, I'm gonna sell you my song. He gonna be like, man, I'm gonna sell you my song. Why the hell I'm gonna buy your song and you gonna buy my song? You're actually competing for the same market. In a little bit. Sometimes you might make a different type of music, so it really don't matter. We're making two totally different things. So the actual consumer that's gonna buy my music and the consumer that's gonna buy your music is gonna be totally different. And that's cool. That's perfectly cool. But it's a competition as an artist to artist. So just understanding that dynamic within the relationship is very important. Working alongside an artist. You might have, it might be highly beneficial for you to work alongside this particular artist, because your sound is going to be able to touch people that you would have never been able to touch. And that's the power in cross promotion. That's the power in working together in a situation where two people have totally different fan bases. It's very powerful. Okay, and understanding that most artists are in their own world. You can't be offended of these artists. Okay, everybody is in their own world. Everybody is in their own world, and it's perfectly okay. It's perfectly okay for that person to be in their own world. And as an artist, you have to develop these boundaries, if you will, so you don't sound so much like the next one, so you don't look so much like it's like that's the whole point of being original. That's the whole point of being an artist, not being like somebody else. Now let's go into the artist-producer relationship. Now it's a collaboration, so we can complete the final project. Most of the time it's a collaboration. You have to work with these producers in a way, because they got the sounds. So as this rapper, you come through, you don't have the sounds, you don't have the kicks, you don't have the drums, you don't have the melodies, you don't have these sounds that can inspire these words. It's supposed to work like a marriage. The artist and the producer comes together. See? And that relationship has to be cultivated. So most of the time, they're gonna expect they money up front, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Like, producers work hard. I didn't understand that. I found myself talking about being an artist one time, and I was like, man, this producer was, trying to charge me $500, and I was like, I can't pay that. As an artist, I can't pay that. So then I get into this space where, damn, I need a beat. And I gotta figure out. So I goes into the studio and I tries to make a beat. That shit was trash. It was trash. I had no understanding of nothing that goes along with the production of a song. So when you get to this space, you gotta respect that producer. You gotta respect them. You gotta, cultivate that relationship and appreciate that shit. You have to appreciate that shit. We are in a space where these producers are creating these things, and it moves the people. The sound is what moves the people. The words is what connects to the emotion. So without your words, that producer, you don't have a song. So the song has to be completed, and it's like cultivating that relationship for that relationship to work. You got to cultivate that relationship, and you got to respect and appreciate it, because everybody don't have to work with you. Let's talk about artist to business relationships. Okay, so you got certain businesses that actually support artists, right? Now you got to find them, and you have to be the presentation that they're actually looking for. Okay, they're not just going to support anybody. They're not going to put their brand in jeopardy for anybody. It doesn't work that way. But it's some businesses out here that you can cultivate a relationship, and you build this relationship, and next thing you know, you might be able to do a show in their building or something like that. You know what I mean? So like, these are the things that you have to be thinking about when it comes to being an artist out here and developing these relationships. You see how it's different from an artist to artist or artist to producer? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's multiple things that you can get out of the relationship. So as you go to it, they could be a potential sponsor. They could sponsor your whole event. They're seeking talent to bring things to their establishment. Now you as the artist can cultivate this relationship and develop this deal. You have the opportunity and the ability to develop a deal with the business who can put money behind your project. So that way you don't have to keep bumming and asking for people that ain't really trying to support. You got to look at the right person with the right money. Okay? This is coming from an artist perspective. This is artist IQ, ladies and gentlemen. These are secrets that I learned 20 years in the game. You see what I'm saying? Like these are real things that you can develop and you can actually grow as an artist. They actually want a connection to your fan base.
It's the interlude, podcast in the YouTube, the genius in the sound underground where it's no rules. This the artist IQ where we level up, the freedom of the soul for a better us. From the heart, so it's all love. Around the world ain't no love, but it's all good. Cold shoulder, the heart warmer. You might catch me out in France, man, it's all normal. This a way of life. This the artist IQ. Mic check 1, 2 with a little bit of EQ. Make it perfect. The entrepreneurs are still needed. Books still read it. The artists are still treated worse than ever. Making it better. We talk freedom every day. Solve the problem together.